Steve Bannon rallies behind Alabama Senate hopeful Roy Moore just 1 week ahead of the special election. One America's Trey Yingst caught up with Bannon for an exclusive OAN interview and has this from Alabama.
Mr. Bannon, I want to thank you for joining us today on One America News.
Thanks, brother.
We're here in Fairhope, Alabama, where you are campaigning for Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore. I'd like to start by asking you, amid allegations of sexual misconduct and a battle on the issues here in Alabama, why are you supporting Judge Roy Moore?
Well, I think Judge Roy Moore supports the president's agenda. I mean, President Trump came out this week and said that. He says, look, Roy Moore supports everything I stand for, from tax cuts to guns to trade to situation on the border. Right, and Doug Jones doesn't. Doug Jones is a radical progressive, and it's pretty clear. So I think President Trump is 100% back. And by the way, Mitch McConnell and all the Republican establishment, the RNC, everybody, they said let the people of Alabama decide. All I'm here, I'm not from Alabama. I'm from Virginia. I came here to show my support for General Moore and just for Judge Moore and just kind of lay out a few facts about the case. And so I think by the way, what Mitch McConnell's saying, what the president's saying, let the folks in Alabama decide.
The president's press secretary this week, Sarah Sanders, said that the allegations against Moore were concerning to President Trump, but at the end of the day, he was focused on making sure he had someone who supports his agenda. Do you agree with the president here in prioritizing the agenda at all costs?
Well, I don't think it's all costs. I think it's that's the president. You know, I was on the campaign and was there for Billy Bush weekend and the allegations against the president. I looked at those allegations and thought that the president was correct. He said all those allegations were not true. Judge Moore said these allegations are not true. It's for the people in Alabama to decide about that. They've got the information. They should weigh and measure it. So I think I'm a big believer in letting folks have the information and let them go with it.
Billy Bush weekend, when this Access Hollywood tape broke during the Trump campaign, you reportedly told candidate Donald Trump at the time to double down and fight back. You've been described as a street fighter. Have you encouraged Judge Moore to double down in a similar fashion?
I have no. I've never talked to Judge Moore about anything about this situation. I just knew Judge Moore was going to run the campaign he was going to run. I was just here. I came to a couple of rallies to basically say, you know, lay it to the case to the people in Alabama. I was here during the Luther Strange runoff and compared and contrast the Republican establishment's opinion versus Judge Moore's. And the same thing here today. What I wanted to do was compare and contrast the Republican establishment and Doug Jones versus Moore. The same thing as I said in my speech tonight, to compare and contrast, right, the policies of Hillary Clinton and President Trump. All I said in Billy Bush weekend is that, hey, it's locker room talk. Here's what the American people care about. The American people care that they're losing their country. The country's in decline. And you're the representative of giving them a voice to turn their country around.
You're carrying this message not just here in Alabama, but you do have plans for 2018. Can you talk to me about 2018 and what is your end goal for the primaries next year?
I think 2018 is going to be a national referendum on Donald Trump. And what we're doing is working with a coalition. You know, everybody says, oh, Bannon's picking these candidates. I'm not picking them. I'm working with a coalition of groups like Citizens United, Ralph Reed's group, Value Voters, Tony Perkins, certain gun organizations, Tea Party groups, a whole coalition of about 25 or 35 groups. And those groups are out there reviewing candidates, doing due diligence, and kind of coming to a collective opinion of who supports the Trump agenda. What I'm looking for is people that support the Trump agenda. And people go, well, why are you thinking about primarying some guys who support President Trump 80 or 90% of the time? That's not good enough. Because on situations, let's take with Bob Corker, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, where Bob Corker starts saying President Trump needs adult daycare, and when he's trashing, right, the President of the United States, when he's trashing the President of the United States about his leadership and veracity as Commander-in-Chief, and people like Barrasso and Deb Fischer are not going to a microphone and saying he should step down as a committee chairman of Foreign Relations, or he should apologize to the President of the United States, when we have troops in the field in Afghanistan and in Korea, right? And the National Security Advisor says war gets every day war gets closer, right? And our Commander-in-Chief is run down by the head of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and these senators think they're going to sit there because they're taking some votes on taxes, and that shows their support of President Trump. It does not. What we're talking about in these grassroots organizations, they want people who are full-throated in supporting the Trump agenda.